tells the tale of an extraordinary family, the Madrigals, who live hidden in the mountains of Colombia, in a magical house, in a vibrant town, in a wondrous, charmed place called an Encanto. The magic of the Encanto has blessed every child in the family with a unique gift from super strength to the power to heal every child except one, Mirabel. But when she discovers that the magic surrounding the Encanto is in danger, Mirabel decides that she, the only ordinary Madrigal, might just be her exceptional family's last hope. Welcome to the movie summary, and I'm Plot. The synopsis below may give away important plot points. The film opens in Colombia, where Alma Madrigal is telling her granddaughter Mirabel the story about how their family came to be. Many years ago, Alma was once married to a man named Pedro, and they had 3 children, but they had to flee their home due to the conquistadors. Pedro was killed protecting his family. But from the tragedy, the candle Alma carries with her becomes magical and creates a sentient house, the casita, for the Madrigals to live in. Years later, a village grows, protected by the casita, and members of the Madrigal family are gifted superhuman abilities they use to help the villagers, the family Madrigal. It is the day of Mirabel's gift ceremony, where she will see what her special power will be. The little girl reaches for the doorknob. Jump to the present, where Mirabel is helping her family get ready because her little cousin Antonio is set for his gift ceremony. Outside, a bunch of kids come by the casita to ask Mirabel about her family. She explains her family's story. The family Madrigal, her mother Yulita has the power to heal people with her food, and she is married to Augustin. Mirabel has 2 sisters, Luisa, who has super strength, and Isabella, the perfect sister who can make flowers bloom anywhere. Tia Pipa is married to Felix, and she has the power to manipulate the weather based on her emotions. They have 3 kids, Dolores, who can hear everything from any distance, Camilo, who can shapeshift, and Antonio. Yulita and Pipa also have a brother, Bruno, who has the gift of seeing the future, but he is an outcast and the family doesn't like to talk about him. However, despite Mirabel trying to dodge the kids' questions about her gift, Dolores tells them that Mirabel never got a gift. She acts like it doesn't bother her, but deep down, it does. Mirabel gives Antonio a gift before the ceremony of a stuffed tiger since he is an animal lover. The family later gathers as Antonio takes his steps to his door, and he touches the doorknob. The door glows, and a toucan perches itself on Antonio's arm, meaning he has been given the gift of talking to animals. Mirabel sadly walks away by herself as she remembers the day of her gift ceremony, and how the door simply disappeared when she didn't get a gift, and she wishes she could be as special as the rest of her family. Suddenly, a ceiling tile falls, and the floor tiles begin to crack. The candle also appears to be fizzling out, despite Alma telling Mirabel that it never goes out. Mirabel goes to alert the family, but when they go back, everything looks undamaged, and they just think Mirabel is trying to cause a fuss for no reason. Mirabel, resolving to save the magic of the casita, goes around to investigate and question her family members. The next day, Mirabel tries to ask Dolores if she heard anything suspicious. Dolores tries to dodge any suspicious talk, but she does tell Mirabel that she could hear Luisa's eye twitching. The family is gathering because a neighboring suitor, Mariano Guzman, wants to court and marry Isabella. Although Mirabel tries to get Luisa's attention, Alma continues to believe Mirabel is just trying to get attention. Mirabel then follows Luisa as she goes about her town duties, fixing anything that her strength can help with. Luisa acts like everything is fine since she is super strong, surface pressure, but then makes it clear that she feels a constant need to prove she is the strongest. She gives Mirabel a backbreaking hug and admits she felt physically weak after Mirabel mentioned the cracks in the casita. Luisa tells her to go to Bruno's tower back home to find more answers. Mirabel sneaks into Bruno's abandoned room where the magic of the casita cannot help her. After climbing a tall staircase and swinging to another ledge, she comes across a cave of sorts where she finds broken shards of one of Bruno's visions. Mirabel puts the pieces together and sees an image of herself. The cave begins to collapse and come down, so Mirabel grabs all the shards and runs out of the room before she becomes trapped in there. While in her room, Mirabel finds Pipa getting the last of Antonio's belongings, but the stress of the current situation makes a rain cloud form over her head. Mirabel tries asking about Bruno, but both Pipa and Felix, as well as the rest of the family and even townspeople, refuse to discuss the man. We don't talk about Bruno. Every time he had a vision, it would come true and bring negative consequences to everyone. In particular, he told Pipa on our wedding day that it looked like rain, which led to her causing a powerful storm. Mirabel puts the pieces of the vision together and sees herself standing in front of the casita looking severely damaged. Augustin enters her room and sees the vision before warning Mirabel not to let anybody know what she saw. Unfortunately for them, Dolores was close by and heard the whole thing. The Madrigals gather as Mariano and his parents visit in preparation for the engagement. While Mirabel tries to keep it together, Dolores spills the beans to her family, and they continue passing it along. Alma once again blames Mirabel for misbehaving, leading to the casita cracking some more, and the family's powers going haywire. Camilo can't control his shape-shifting, Pipa causes a storm in the house, Luisa can't even drag a piano into the room, and Isabella accidentally creates a flower vine that punches Mariano in the face. Isabella tells Mirabel she hates her. Mirabel starts to take the vision shards back to her room, but drops one. A rat picks up the shard and brings it back to Bruno, who is hiding behind the walls of the casita. Mirabel follows him and finds his little hideout, as the family believed he went into exile, but he has just been living behind the kitchen so the rats can bring him food. Mirabel asks for his help, but he doesn't want to because he knows his visions always make people unhappy. He tells her that Alma had been worried about the magic on the day of Mirabel's gift ceremony, and he worries that this is why she didn't get a gift. They are found by Antonio, since the rats told him what's going on, and with his encouragement, Bruno agrees to share a new vision with Mirabel. They still see her standing in front of the cracked casita, but something new happens when Mirabel spots a butterfly before she is standing in front of the candle and embracing someone, who turns out to be Isabella. Mirabel initially refuses to hug Isabella, but figures she must if it means saving the casita. Mirabel goes to Isabella's room to try and hug it out, but Isabella is still angry at Mirabel. She tries to drag Mirabel out with vines, but gets more upset when Mirabel refers to Isabella as selfish. Isabella says that she has always had to maintain a perfect image for the family and that she didn't even want to get engaged to Mariano but would have for the family's sake. She manifests a cactus, which she acknowledges isn't conventionally beautiful like her flowers, but she still finds the beauty in it and is amazed that she can create more. This helps Isabella get over her anger with Mirabel, and they end up hugging in front of the candle as the vision predicted. Alma comes into the casita and sees Isabella covered in different colors before berating Mirabel and saying she is the reason that the casita is breaking down and why everyone's powers are out of control. She thinks Mirabel is lashing out for her lack of a gift, but Mirabel hits back that Alma's own high expectations of her family is what is bringing them down, and that it is actually her own fault that everything is going wrong. The floor then starts to crack more heavily, and the whole casita starts to crumble and fall. Mirabel tries to rush to save the candle, which is quickly melting. The casita uses the last of its power to protect Mirabel and it completely collapses. The Madrigals are devastated at the loss of their home, and the Encanto fades from the rest of the village as well. Mirabel runs away by the river where she cries to herself. Alma walks over and finds her, saying this is where Pedro was killed. She was heartbroken until the Encanto came to life, and she admits that she spent so long trying to protect the magic and maintain what made the family special, but she lost sight of what really made her family who they are. A flashback shows Pedro and Alma as they fell in love, got married, and raised their kids before being forced to flee their home. The Encanto blew the murderous soldiers away and created everything. Mirabel then sees the butterfly from Bruno's vision, and after reconciling with Alma, they embrace. They are found by Bruno, who comes riding in on a horse, and his mother embraces him for the first time in years. The three return home, and with help from the villagers, they begin to rebuild the casita. Bruno reunites with the family, and Elita and Pipa are elated to see him again. Mariano also ends up falling in love with Dolores, since she tells him what she has heard from him. The Madrigals come together to honor each other, all of you, but also praise Mirabel for being the one to bring them all back together. They give her a doorknob they made just for her, and once she replaces it into the front door, the casita and all the magic is restored.